come on. Come the drum.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah,
gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need.
Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Good evening. This is
Avi Bernard.
Very happy I am to be back in the United States and back on the network, even for so short a visit as this one. A lot of people asked us to do it again, so it's gratifying to get the chance now. Personally, I've never met anybody who didn't like
KBLA Talk 1580.
but it seems I do have a reputation for the uncanny. I'm an overpaid producer with pleasant reasons to rejoice, and I do. But surely my right to having more than enough is canceled if I don't use that more to help those who have less. We must each day earn what we own. A healthy man owes to the sick all that he can do for them. An educated man owes to the ignorant all that he can do for them. A free man owes to the world's slaves all that he can do for them. If we can't die in behalf of progress, we can live for it. If we waste that gift, we won't have anywhere to hide from the indignation of history.
This is the Friday edition of Areva Martin in Real Time with Avi Bernard.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
The dawn is hours before. We knew it. Somehow we do it.
The cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer.
And it is the Friday edition of Areva Martin in Real Time. Avi Bernard here with you. Let's get you caught up. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s independent presidential campaign says it has ended its contract with a consultant who was seen on video encouraging people to vote for him in order to, quote unquote, get rid of Biden, even if that means electing Donald Trump. Video of the consultant, Rita Palma, her comments had energized Democrats online as they said it confirmed their accusations that the purpose of Kennedy's campaign is to hand the White House back to Trump over President Joe Biden. The number of young adults who chose tubal ligation and vasectomies as birth control jumped abruptly after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022 and has continued to rise, according to new research. The paper, published today by the American Medical Association, is the first to focus specifically on the contraception choices of women and men ages 18 to 30 after the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization ended the constitutional right to abortion. Donald Trump will become the first former president to stand trial in a criminal case next week, and he'll do so against the backdrop of a presidential campaign in which he is the presumptive Republican nominee. Jury selection begins Monday in New York City, and the trial is expected to last 6 to 8 weeks. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg charged Trump with 34 counts of first-degree falsifying business records, which is a low-level felony. Trump faces a maximum of 4 years in prison if he is convicted. The presidential candidate of Ghana's ruling party, Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia, said yesterday that he was opposed to the quote-unquote practice of homosexuality, a stance he promised to maintain if elected in December. President Nana Akufo-Addo faces pressure to sign into law one of Africa's most severe anti-LGBTQ bills, which has been criticized by rights advocates and the United Nations. Bawumia's main presidential rival, former President John Dramani Mahama, made similar comments in January. In the West African nation, gay sex is already punishable by up to 3 years in prison, and LGBTQ people routinely face harassment and abuse. This comes just a week after Uganda's constitutional court last Wednesday upheld an anti-gay law that allows the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality, and that's in quotations, aggravated homosexuality. That's what they call it. Despite widespread condemnation from rights groups and others abroad, President Yoweri Museveni signed the bill into law last May. The law is supported by many in the East African country, where some see it as behavior imported from abroad and not a sexual orientation. President Joe Biden announced today that his administration is canceling $7.4 billion in student loans for 277,000 borrowers. The White House said the latest round of relief helps borrowers enrolled in the Saving on a Valuable Education Repayment Plan, as well as those on the Income-Driven Repayment or Public Service Loan Forgiveness plans. On the SAVE plan, an income-driven repayment plan that took effect last summer, the new policy will allow those who took out similar loans to have the debt canceled more quickly. With its latest move, the administration has now canceled $153 billion in debt for 4.3 million Americans. About 1 in 4 U.S. teachers said their school went into a gun-related lockdown during the 2022-2023 school year, according to new findings from the Pew Research Center. The teachers told the research center that they experienced lockdowns because of a gun or suspicion of a gun at their school, with around 15% saying it happened once during the year and 8% saying it happened more than once. Former President Donald Trump made a visit to Chick-fil-A in Atlanta on Wednesday in his latest bid to pander to black voters. But not all the employees looked thrilled by his visit. In fact, some of them looked downright concerned. But that's not to say that no one praised Donald Trump. One woman said, "I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you." That stresses me out. And so this hour we're gonna have our good friend of the show, Christopher Walton, former chair of the Democratic Party of Milwaukee County. We'll also, in addition to talking about those topics, we're going to get your thoughts on O.J. Simpson's passing. A lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about this, so we're gonna get into that. And in hour number 2, I'm going to have an underground hip-hop artist here. His name is Reapplied Poetry. And I can't wait to have that conversation as well. But first, when we come forward, we'll be talking about all the latest headlines from the day right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's the real deal in real time. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams, too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The way we spend our time defines who we are. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we are back on Areva Martin in real time. It's Avi Bernard here with you every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And if you are listening on 1580 AM here in Los Angeles, I appreciate you. And I also appreciate if you're listening to us on the KBLA app, the free KBLA app, that is. And of course, you can also listen to and watch us on YouTube. So, always a pleasure to be joined by Christopher Walton, the former chair of the Democratic Party of Milwaukee County. Chris, what is happening today?
Not much, Avi. Not much. How are you?
Man, I am. I'm as good as can be expected with all the craziness going on around the world, man. But I guess that's what we're here to discuss. So,
right.
So let's
as an aggravated homosexual. Yeah.
You know I'm gonna get to that. Because I was gonna say, man, what is aggravated homosexuality? What even is that?
Me in college.
I guess we might as well start there, man, because that's a crazy story. I mean, it's a story out of Africa, but it does certainly tie into what's going on here with all the anti-LGBTQ rhetoric and the anti-almost everyone rhetoric that the Republican Party spews nonstop. So,
right.
So Ghana's president, or the presidential candidate rather of Ghana's ruling party, he said yesterday that he's opposed to the quote-unquote practice of homosexuality. And his main rival also had similar comments. And I guess gay sex is already punishable by up to 3 years in prison in Ghana. But that's like light work compared to Uganda, where the death penalty is in place for homosexuality. So as what you would describe as a member of the aggravated homosexual community, what would you say to this news?
All skinfolk and kinfolk is really a thing that applies constantly. It is really sad that we have folks who are literally saying, "Oh, we are oppressed, we are this, we are that," and yet and still we have a community that still we're turning our back on our own people, and it's really sad. We're seeing such a rise in hate crimes across the world, let alone in the United States, even from our own people too. The fact that we're seeing, I don't know if you heard about this week, the young man that was killed down in Jackson, Mississippi, via domestic abuse. It's really sad. The piece of legislation they're pushing against trans rights, the fact that they're trying to, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito are trying to roll back marriage equality.
Mm-hmm.
The LGBT community is under attack.
Yeah.
And we're always under attack. Everybody is always under attack, but we're the first ones they go to. But we're not the only ones they go to.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we need everybody, all of our allies. We need to unite together and push back against this conservative movement across the world that is literally trying to take this planet back to the Stone Age in order to fulfill whatever political goals they can, be it removing minority rights, being it taking away reproductive freedom. They don't want you to be able to have the choice. They want you to think your vote is a privilege. Your vote is not a privilege. Your vote is a right. And every person on this planet should have the right to determine how they want to live their life. And it's really sad.
Absolutely. And I say all the time, LGBTQ rights are human rights. And whenever you are trying to restrict the rights of a human being, it is wrong. And to try to tell somebody that you can't have sex with this person or that person or you will get the death penalty, as long as it's two consenting adults, that should be the only requirement. And I don't understand how anyone anywhere in the world can be pushing laws like this. And there was a Republican, I'm not sure if he was a congressman or a state senator or something, who actually went over there to Uganda to tell him, you know what, you are right to have this law that enables the death penalty for homosexuality. And so it's not just quote unquote over there that this is happening. It's happening because, as you said, this conservative movement around the world to restrict people's rights and restrict people's rights within the LGBTQ community, it's happening. And if this isn't proof, then I don't know what is. And we have to speak out against this, even though it may feel like it's in a faraway place. It's really not. I mean, the world is smaller than it's ever been. And if things like this are going to be accepted in nations like that, then you never know what nation they could come to next. And shoot, Republicans are already trying to attack contraception and I mean everything. I mean, so they're really trying.
All of these things are connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single one of these are connected.
Exactly. They're trying to be all up in everybody's bedroom, and I don't get it. Just leave people alone. It's so crazy.
Well, clearly, there's nothing going on in theirs.
Right. And this is what happens when you have a bunch of incels running the country. And I just to remind everybody, incels means involuntarily celibate. I remember when I first learned what that term meant, I was quite tickled, because it means that you ain't having sex, and it's not because you are abstinent. It's because you are not able to. So 800-920-1580 is the number to call. 800-920-1580 is the number to call if you do want to be involved in this conversation. So, Chris, let's talk about your boy JFK Jr. or I'm sorry, RFK Jr. His independent presidential campaign. It ended its contract with a consultant. And that consultant was saying something like we have to vote for RFK Jr. because if not, then if we do, then it will help get rid of Biden, even if it means electing Trump. So this is a consultant, and this is just like a week or so after they said that they're calling the January 6th prisoners activists, and so they're really showing their colors all the time now, and then the campaign keeps trying to walk it back, but it is clear what side they're on, though. So how can they step away from this? How can they they're trying to backpedal now, but how can well, I guess the question is, will this effort to backpedal be effective, or will people really see what that campaign is all about?
When someone tells you who they are, from the great Maya Angelou, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. We've been telling people this for over a year now, that this third-party movement that they're trying to prop up is literally just bent to prop up Donald Trump, because Donald Trump can't win head up. We've seen that.
Right.
We saw it in 2016. He had Hillary, and there was a host of other third parties running. He won.
Gary Johnson and Jill Stein.
Mm-hmm. Jill Stein and who was the other guy?
Gary Johnson. Yeah, Gary Johnson.
When he had to go one-on-one, he can't win. When he went one-on-one against President Biden, we saw what happened. He lost. But here we go again. We don't learn very quickly in this country sometimes. It happened in 2000. It happened in 2016. When they can't go head up with us because they can't win. We're seeing right now President Biden is already on a one-on-one basis. He's starting to retake the lead. He's pushing it out there now. His campaign's going full speed. Mm-hmm. We're spending money. It's amazing how suddenly, Biden didn't do anything, Biden's going to lose, how that whole narrative from the media has disappeared. We haven't heard it in a long time. But what we are seeing is that heads up, Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, Joe Biden wins. And it's happening more and more and more, becoming more and more clear to the American people that they don't want to go back to what they happened 4 years ago. They want to keep going forward. Mm-hmm. But if we let Robert Kennedy and his anti-vaxxers cause this problem, we're the ones responsible for it. And now we have Donald Trump back in there telling us to inject bleach in our arms and get a little sunlight. The question of, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? A hell of a lot better. Because in 2020, I wasn't in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was locked in my house in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. And we all were. We all were locked in our homes. And to forget that and try to say, oh, it wasn't Trump's fault. Of course, the entire pandemic wasn't Trump's fault, but he handled that situation so recklessly. And so he exacerbated it. And when you have a horrible situation like that, you need someone who's going to handle it like a responsible adult and a responsible leader and make it as and lessen the blow as much as they can. But he made it worse. And so if you really want to have that conversation, or are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And that's why they started off with that line, and then they stopped real quick because they realized, actually, you know what? We shouldn't ask that because people were not better off 4 years ago. So it's just, it is like when you have all these third-party candidates jumping in, RFK and Jill Stein is back in it again, I think also, and Cornel West and all these people. It's almost like Joe Biden's being jumped. Like you said, Joe Biden is going to win one-on-one, but if you got all these people jumping into the fight that can only hurt Joe Biden, then it makes it harder and harder for him to win because these people aren't going to hurt Donald Trump. They're going to hurt Joe Biden. And so, I mean, this is as good a time as any is to bring up that conversation about Dr. Cornel West and his running mate, Dr. Melina Abdullah, that was announced right here on this radio station. And have a lot of respect for both of those individuals, but I just think the campaign's a bad idea. I don't see the point. I don't see what y'all are doing. I mean, the only potential outcome is that you hurt Joe Biden. That's it. I think it's I don't understand. I don't understand what y'all are doing. It seems like it's for vanity or for attention, maybe money. I don't get it. But what are your thoughts on the Cornel West candidacy, Chris?
Very far and few in between. I've spent as much time thinking about Cornel West and his campaign as I do as everybody else in the country thinking about Cornel West and his campaign. The problem that we're running into, and it's a democracy. Everybody has the right to win. And to run, everybody has the right to run, everybody has the right to win. But the problem that we're running into is that you're literally, again, you're lowering the number of what it takes to win. If you look at all the polls, Donald Trump keeps hitting 46, 47. This is a little political tip for everybody here in radio land listening to us. When you look at the polls, Donald Trump keeps getting 46, 47.
Never
Why
50.
Is that, you ask?
Never 50.
Never 50, but 46, 47. What did he get in 2016? 46%. What did he get in 2020? 47%. He's got his number. That is his whole number.
That's his ceiling.
He can't get above that. And if we keep putting other people in and lowering that number, so instead of Joe Biden needing to just get to 50 to win, now he needs to get past that 47. You're lowering the bar. And you know what happens when you lower the bar? This kind of sounds like what they always talk about DEI is doing, honestly. But you're lowering the bar. You're lowering the standards. And you're going to get Donald Trump as president. Maybe we should raise our standards. Maybe we should have DEI programs and raise our standards so that we elect people who actually know what the hell they're talking about, are intelligent, know how to do the job, have proven they can do the job.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like as you said, absolutely, it's a democracy. Everyone has the right to run. I don't understand why you would want to. If you are Dr. Cornel West and Dr. Melina Abdullah, why would you want to run? What is that going to do for you? And I know you both care about black people deeply, and I'm still going to support Black Lives Matter. I'm always going to call a situation out when I don't think it's right, and I don't think it's right what they're doing because it's the only potential is that they're going to help Trump get elected. You can talk about wanting to be in the conversation, whatever, but the only tangible thing that's going to happen from this is you helping Donald Trump get elected. So I take issue with it, man. I take issue with it, and I know a lot of people agree with me, and some may disagree, but you're welcome to call 800-920-1580 if you want to be in the conversation, and we actually have Q holding on. So, Q, what's on your mind? Q from Los Angeles.
Yes, yeah. How you gentlemen doing? This on the subject of the LGBTQ, I call them the alphabet people. I don't know why we try to infringe upon other people's culture. is not a culture of Africans to entertain homosexuality. That's a European behavior.
No,
and
no, it's
black
not.
people,
No, it's
for
not.
some reason, let me finish. So, black people, for some reason, we have embraced foreign cultures of these Europeans, and we have neglected our own culture. Why should they accept a culture that is not theirs? If homosexuality is not their culture, it's not their culture. You can't force that upon them.
Okay, you're saying the same thing over and over again. Do you have anything else?
You know, what I'm saying is that black people, we should embrace our own culture and leave this European culture alone.
Okay, thank you, Q, for the call. Thank you, Q, for the call. So, listen, man. First of all, I take a lot of issue with what you said. You couldn't be more wrong, because what about the people who are African from that nation who are homosexual? That is their culture. That they are them being themselves. But you know, Chris, I wanna let you go off on this. We have about a minute till break, so I'm not sure if you want to go now or you want to go after the break. But I want to let you.
I got to go with this right now.
Okay, go ahead.
The problem with that thought process is that gay people don't have a culture.
Right.
We have a lot of
exactly.
culture. Matter of fact, black LGBT people in this nation have also created the black culture. Without black LGBT people, I'd highly recommend you go see Byron Rustin in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have an I Have a Dream speech in the March on Washington. Without black LGBT people, we wouldn't have flipped Wisconsin in 2020. You're welcome. Without black LGBT people, this world would not be moving the same way it does. We are literally part of the vanguard of fighting for the rights for everybody. Not everybody doesn't fight for us, but we fight for everybody's rights. Because when we get hit, we start fighting back. And we hope we can lead and encourage people. And now to also hit that about homosexuality isn't part of African culture going all the way back to to Egypt has homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
The Egyptian gods were homosexual. In North Africa, there's many instances of homosexuality. In Eastern Africa, before pre-colonial, the European values that you speak of, sir, those values came over from Christian Europeans, not what was on the ground in Africa, where they had numerous amounts of people who can be, throughout history, seen who were homosexual. So please, educate yourself,
Exactly.
learn more about your actual culture,
and you
can learn more about us.
Andy just dropped the bomb for you, and you can continue to speak on it when we come forward, Chris. I want to make sure you have all the time to speak on that as you want, because that was one of the most ignorant things we've heard a caller say on this show, and so we'll get right back to that discussion. This idea that homosexuality is a European construct, right after this news, traffic, and sports update on KBLA Talk 1580.
Areva time is the right time. More of Areva Martin in real time when we come forward.
I'm Trey Thomas. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A Berwyn, Illinois woman is accused of stealing nearly $250,000 through the state treasurer's unclaimed property program. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says Maria Mashad filed 4 fraudulent claims with the Illinois Treasurer's Office. Maryland Governor Wes Moore says there's progress in the recovery and salvage efforts at the site of the deadly Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. And a coalition of civil rights groups wants a new name for the Francis Scott Key Bridge after it's rebuilt. The Caucus of African American Leaders voted to recommend changing the name because it honors a man who owned slaves. That's the latest. I'm Trey Thomas on your home for 24/7 news, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Got a crash in Encino, 101 freeway northbound before Balboa. It's on the right shoulder. You're slow back from Coldwater Canyon. Also really slow in Hollywood, the 101 southbound from Sunset down to Mission in the East LA interchange. You'll find slow traffic there. And a wreck in Studio City. This is also on the 101 southbound past Coldwater Canyon. It's on the right shoulder. Traffic slow back from the 405.
True Green is the easiest and most affordable way to get a beautiful lawn. All you have to do is water and mow. And to top it off, when you sign up for an annual plan by April 20th, you get one application free. Call or visit truegreen.com today. Restrictions apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There's a possibility the Lakers' loss to Golden State on Tuesday night could be their final home game of the season. The Lakers end the regular season on the road tonight at Memphis and Sunday at New Orleans. Because the Lakers are the 10th seed in the play-in round, they will have to win 2 games on the road just to make the playoffs. Their first play-in game is Tuesday night at Golden State. If the Lakers lose, their season is over. If they win, they'll have to go to either Sacramento or Phoenix to advance. The Clippers will have home court advantage in their first-round series against Dallas. Game 1 is next Saturday, April 20th at Crypto.com. As of Friday morning, USC, the Buffalo Bills, and the San Francisco 49ers, teams that O.J. Simpson played for, have made no comment in a statement or online about Simpson's death. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Come to drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, where climate is king. Climate is king. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, bro?
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. There's no time like the present. Let's get back to more of Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Back on the Friday edition of Areva Martin in real time. Avi Bernard here with you every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So joined by Christopher Walton, the former chair of the Democratic Party of Milwaukee County, good friend of the program, not program. But Chris, let's get back to this conversation because we had to step aside just as we were kind of getting into it. And just this idea that homosexuality is a European construct. that somehow the Europeans invented homosexuality when there have always been examples, and homosexuality has always been part of humanity from the beginning. It's even found you find examples of it in the animal kingdom as well, and this idea is just it's really it's uneducated, it's nonsensical, but I just in case you weren't done, I mean, Andy dropped the bomb for you because you were dropping science, but anything else that you didn't get a chance to say, I want to make sure you have a chance to fully express yourself.
No, it's really sad that you could, but you know what? There's really not much to say further because in this country, we have the right to say dumb things. And even though I strongly am against what you said and think, we got to support his right to say it. That's the beauty of democracy. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, he's an idiot, but he has the right to be that idiot. So we can proceed on. I said everything that needed to be said.
Yeah, he is an idiot, but I mean, and you do have a right to be an idiot, but when your idiocy is causing people harm, then that's a problem for me. And so when you got people facing the death penalty because of this idiocy, and then some people being okay with that, that's a problem for me. And so, and I know it's a problem for you too. And so this thought that it's not their culture, so just let them hate gay people. What are you talking about, man? You think that people that people in Africa of that culture who ain't never been anywhere else, who ain't never had any interactions with European people, are not gonna be gay because they're African? I mean, it don't make any sense, man. I mean, I didn't choose to be attracted to women. I just am. So it's not. I've always believed it's not a choice. But even if it is a choice, who cares? It's not your business. And people can do what they want to do. And for you to say that people should have the death penalty because of that is just, oh my God. It really, really drives me bonkers. The lines are going kind of crazy. So if you're on hold, we're going to get to you. And if you haven't been able to get through, just keep trying. 800-920-1580. That's 800-920-1580. Let's go to Tony in Compton. Tony, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to say that, I think you are putting too much Americanization and publicization on this whole situation because of your platform. Because as far as culture-wise, I mean, you basing it on in America, you have the right to do whatever you want to do. But let's look beyond America. Let's look before America. Let's look even in the 50s and 60s where 99.9, even in America, your black folks, African Americans, they were not in that type of cultural situation.
Tony, are you black?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to go back to the 50s and 60s and talk about the life of black people in the 50s and 60s? You really want to go back to the 50s and 60s and talk about that?
Sure, because we're only talking about one platform and one situation and circumstance.
No, we're not. We're not talking about just one, Tony. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that this is all connected. When you try to take rights away from people, then you make it okay to take rights away from people, then eventually it's going to spread to other people. And taking rights away from anybody is not okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you disagree with that?
As far as taking rights away, it's a whole bigger picture than that, and you only focusing on one.
You didn't answer my
generalization.
question. You didn't answer my question. Are you okay with taking rights away from people?
As far as it's a bigger picture than just taking.
Okay, if you're not gonna have a conversation, then what? Then
okay, yeah. Let's take those rights. Yeah, I agree with that.
You're okay with taking rights away from people?
You want to go there? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Of course I want to go there. That's why I asked the question. So you're okay with
taking rights away?
Go ahead. Take rights. Go. You finish your sentence.
Taking rights away from people? Yes, of course.
Of course.
Who rights? Of course. Those type of rights? Of course. That ain't your culture. That ain't who you are.
What type of rights? What type of rights are you willing to take away from people?
the rights that we're referring to?
Tell me what rights. Tell me what rights. No. I'm not. Don't say the rights we're referring to because I'm not.
Since you wanna, be sarcastic about it.
I'm not being sarcastic, Tony. I'm not being sarcastic at all. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. I'm not advocating for taking away anyone's rights. You're the one.
We've been talking about the same subject matter all day, and then you want to say what rights? You know what rights we're talking about?
No. What rights are you talking about? Because we're talking about gay people. We're not talking about. We haven't talked about specifically which rights. So tell me which rights you're okay with being taken away.
As far as your what you just said, gay, your rights as far as gay people,
your ability to be gay, your ability to legally be gay in the country and not have to hide it.
Well, you can be what you want to be, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right.
Tony,
that doesn't make.
Go ahead, Chris. You want? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. If you want me, I'm not sure what you want to say because I'm kind of flabbergasted at how much sense you're not making, Tony. So it just go ahead, Chris.
So here's the thing with that, Tony. I'm gonna break it down to you real smooth. Let's just think about this for a second. Without everybody's rights being equal, nobody's rights is equal. Once you start removing people's right to marry, like they're talking about, and they start removing reproductive freedom rights and right to marry, they're eventually going to hit you. Now, they may not start with you. They never start with, the majority opinion, but they always get to you. So, yeah, today you may lose your right to, as a gay person, I may lose my right to marry. But if you're married to a white woman, you may also lose your right to marry. Because now my rights of marriage are not solid. They're not stable. You could lose your rights too. That literally came up when they talked about removing Roe v. Wade. When Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito literally said that we should consider removing other cases that came up that we don't agree with. So once you start pulling at these rights, whether it be the right to an abortion, the right to marriage equality, the right to privacy, once you start pulling at these things, everybody's rights pyramid comes falling down. So when you start removing people's right to even exist in this country, in my lifetime, I had more rights to marry my cousin than the right to marry another man. And that's a shame. That's appalling. That's something we should be ashamed of as a country. But the beauty of America is, even though we had some rights in the 50s, black people had some rights, everybody had some rights, we're America. We keep trying to be more perfect. And the problem that we run into with people like yourself and the conservative movement is that you don't seem to realize that you are a target just as much as everybody else is. If you think that this democracy does not keep moving and getting better and growing, you can't keep holding on to things in the past when things were not better. When people always say we want to make America great again, well, let's go back and talk about when America was great for them. Not all of us. It was great for them. When a man could be a man, and when he would come home because his little wife would have the house cleaned and cooked. What about women's rights? Don't they have the right? When a man could be a man, and if a black man looked at my woman, I could kill him? Yeah, that's when America was great. When Hispanic people didn't even exist, quote unquote, in the mainstream of America, that was when America was great. We can't keep going back to this idea of the 50s as a great time. It wasn't great for everybody.
Yeah. Right, gotcha.
All right, well, thanks.
But my thing, yeah, go ahead.
No, finish up, Tony, because we're about to move on.
Okay, yeah, my thing is I'm much deeper than where y'all at as far as American lives, because Americanization, because I've heard things that was expressed on your show that was like, okay, well, our culture, back in we had back in African days, and the Europeans started this and started that. Our culture didn't come from what you guys are in on today. As far as what you're saying, this makes sense because you're Americans or whatever, and everybody has equal whatever. I mean, if you accept that, but what I was doing was going back a little deeper than that, a little further than that. Just even in like I was pointing out in the 50s and 60s, you had maybe 99.9% of your culture was not into what's going on in today's time, and that 1% that were into it was turned out. And if you want to even go further back than that, God made man and woman. God did not make man and man or woman and woman. So I was pretty much going back into our culture, like not as far as what's going on now. Your valid point as far as what's going on now. Okay, we're Americans. Hey, let's get in to fit in. You know, they say this is good. Let's do it. I mean, I got you on that.
Okay, Tony. So listen, man, you keep saying the same thing. We got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get to those we're holding. But you keep trying to go further and further back. Like that is going to prove your point. You said you're talking about something deeper than we're talking about. You're going deeper. No, man, you're not going deeper. You're going more shallow. You keep saying, oh, because we're Americans, it's okay. That has nothing to do with it. Homosexuality did not originate in Europe. That's the point. You keep saying these things like it's a fact. Yeah, when you go further back, you're going to find more suppression of rights. But you really, as a black person, you just went back to the 50s as an example. Come on, man. But we didn't have the right to vote in the 50s. Your ancestors did not have the right to vote in the 50s. So what the hell are you talking about? Just really, man, I mean, listen, I'm glad we're having the discussion because clearly there's a lot of people that feel this weird ass BS. I almost cursed on the radio. Really, really came close that time. Feeling this weird BS that somehow this is okay to take people's rights away. And he and Tony actually said it. Yeah, I'm cool with that. You're cool with the death penalty because it's quote unquote not their culture. Yes, it is their culture. It's their culture as much as anyone else's culture. Homosexuality is a human thing. Being homosexual is human. It always has been. It always will be. What's that?
Penguins too.
Yeah, it's human.
And dolphins.
Yeah.
All kind of animals.
Exactly. So we gotta step aside for a brief moment. We haven't even gotten to White and White privilege yet. We will, and we'll get to your calls when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's the real deal in real time. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know there is a healthcare system serving our community whose vision is health for a better world? What if I told you? One of our nation's leading healthcare providers has a department dedicated to health equity and community engagement. Providence is Southern California's largest and most comprehensive healthcare network with 11 hospitals and 40 urgent care centers. Providence treats each patient with the compassionate care they deserve, when and where they need it. Most importantly, Providence is a diverse family of people and organizations driven by the belief that health is a human right. Providence takes pride in forming community alliances that address health concerns that disproportionately impact those communities. For Minority Health Month, Providence is sponsoring Health for a Better World. Informative conversations with Providence health professionals on Urban Family Focus every Saturday in April at 7 a.m. Get to know more at providence.org.
It's a celebration of a living legend.
It's the Farewell Tour.
It's Maze featuring Frankie Bello.
Thank you for the love to the
Also featuring the soul icon, Anthony Hamilton. Plus, After 7. It's a Mother's Day celebration, May 12th in the Kia Forum.
In commemoration, come in your all white.
Get tickets at Ticketmaster. Presented by the Black Promoters Collective.
Imagine with me here for a minute the most beautiful panoramic setting. Maybe it's an endless ocean, waves crashing on a beach, or a crystal clear mountain lake, peaceful and quiet. Or maybe it's just little kids playing in the park down the street. Wherever your imagination takes you, now imagine right smack in the middle of this perfect picture, a piece of litter. Just one piece right there in the middle of it all. Doesn't exactly fit, does it? In fact, even though it's just one piece, now it's all you can see. That one piece ruins everything. And that's the thing about litter. It doesn't take much to ruin everything. one thing's for sure, it simply does not belong anywhere in California. So here's the good news. If we work together, we will change it. We don't have to let litter, even just one piece, ruin your perfect picture. Not anymore, not ever again. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. Brought to you by Caltrans and CleanCA.com.
The way we spend our time defines who we are. You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we're back on Areva Martin in real time, the Friday edition. So real quickly, and we might actually just have this conversation going. If you can stay a little longer, Chris, we might, if we can, just finish out these calls real quick. But first, I want to get to our conversation we do every week. It is called "What's in the White Entitlement?" Andy, who's at the door?
It's white.
So we talk about white privilege here every week, and this is actually not. And we usually highlight a person who has made or done or said something that we highlight. So, in this case, I want to talk about Kyla Pratt, who is an actor, and she talks about her healthcare experience in giving birth, and she was experiencing contractions, and she told the nurse, and the nurse said, "Oh, no, you're not." And so she said, "No, I am. Get the doctor." And so the nurse went and got the doctor, begrudgingly. And the doctor came and said, "Oh yeah, you are. You're dilated. We actually got to do an emergency C-section." So this is something that we hear about a lot, especially when it comes to black women, having not being listened to when they're experiencing something in medical, particularly as it relates to childbirth. So this segment is kind of dedicated to those who don't listen when black women tell you something, that especially those in the medical field. And so I just want it to be, I want to keep raising the awareness that this is an actual thing. And Kyla turned out okay, her daughter turned out okay, but this is something that a lot of women don't survive, and black women die at higher maternal rates than anyone in this country. So that's why black maternal health and those who ignore it are the subject of this week's What in the White Entitlement.
It's white.
All right, let's see what we can do with these phone calls. Let's see. So let's go to Sherman in Houston. Sherman, what you got? You gonna piss me off too? What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Bernard? I ain't gonna piss you off, man. I love the show, man. How y'all doing?
Appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, hello to you guests out there, man. Hey, man, I just wanted to call in to say, man, I thought some of them cats, Tony Cat was kind of ignorant, man. Myself, I'm a married man with 2 children. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily support the lifestyle of the LBG, but I will support their rights. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I believe everybody has the rights to choose who they want to be with or who they want to be. As long as it's, like, say, 2 consenting adults, you shouldn't have nothing to say that that's their personal business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like I said, it's not for me, but I don't condone it. But you know what I'm saying? But I mean, is that what they want to do? That's their life. You know what I'm saying? You have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's way too much more important stuff to be worried about who's sleeping with who out here. You know what I'm saying? We got so much stuff going on out here, man. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about these 2 guys over here who want to do their thing, or these 2 women. You know what I'm saying? I'm more concerned about, little Johnny with the Uzi, trying to come up in the school building, where my kids go to school at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more worried about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm worried about these 2 guys, these 2 women. That's their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's not affecting me at all because they want to do their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so I just think, man, people need to just something like that. You need to mind your own business and worry about your own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, there's a lot of stuff we don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, it's like if they was to come out and say, well, everybody has to have dreads now. So I'm bald headed. So I mean, I got to grow hair. You know what I'm saying? So what you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? I can't grow hair. What you want me to do? You gonna kill me because I can't grow hair? You know what you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what I prefer. This is what I like. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Man. Like I said, I love the station, man. KBLA, I support y'all. You know what I'm saying? And man, this put some sense to these people, man. Please.
We trying, Sherman, and with your help, I appreciate you calling in. And you stay safe out there in Houston.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Go for it.
Okay. You mentioned I love that the segment wasn't the white privilege too. I love that. You know what I'm saying? It's me white. I love that. And Yeah, I listened yesterday, Marie, when she had the lady on there was talking about the women's health, man. And I didn't know, even me with having a black wife and black children, I didn't know it was that serious for black women. You know, I listened to the lady yesterday, and she was saying how, so she got ready to have her child. She was in college, and she said so she did all her research, and she found the best hospital she could find. You know what I'm saying? And so she thought that would increase her chance of having a real healthy baby and all this stuff. But she said they treated her like scum in the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I was interested. They had all these great reviews, but then she went back and realized that all the great reviews were from white women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There wasn't no great reviews from the black women. I was like, wow. So she, I checked it out. She started she has a program now she started where black women can believe they comments about these hospitals and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling my wife about it, telling my daughters about it. You know, y'all need to check this out.
Yeah.
Cause they 17 and 15 now, but eventually that's going to be them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You got to raise the awareness now.
Yeah, so I'm starting to talk to them now because I didn't know it was that. I mean, I'm like, for my wife, we didn't have no personal problems. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, if you don't know about it and nobody's talking about it, how you going to know?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You only know your personal experience. Do you think everything is okay? Because your personal experience is good, but then, they really like me or something. So I really appreciate that yesterday. And I got my wife and them, they looking at they checking it out now. So I really appreciate that too, yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Sherman. Thank you so much for the call. And yeah, my wife is also a black woman, and it's something we've been aware of. And when we had our first son 2.5 years ago, we were very much concerned about that. And so, as Andy said, that's why we're here to have these conversations. Chris, any response to anything Sherman said?
You know, honestly, that's really what most people in the LGBTQ community want. We ain't asking you to like it. We ain't asking you to join in. Now, if you want to join in, that's on you. Our agenda is to go out and be with our family, be with our friends.
Yep.
Maybe go out at night and not
live your life.
Meet somebody. Our agenda is not. We are not out here selling Amway products. We are not trying to sell being gay. Trust me, we've seen it. A lot of us actually fought back and trying to pray it away because it's not an easy thing. Because so many people want to hate you for no apparent reason.
Yep.
Other than you just want to live your life. So, no, what he said, honestly, that's exactly what we're looking for. I'm not asking you to join in. I'm not asking you to grab a pride flag and come march with us. I'm asking you to leave me the hell alone. And let me live my life, and you live yours. And if you want to have a barbecue, you want to watch a game, call me, invite me. I'll come.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And see, and I will grab a pride flag and march with you. And so that's just, I think it, but I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I hear what you're saying, and that's the main thing is y'all are people who just want to be left alone just like anybody else. Howard, let's fit you in real quick, Howard. What's on your mind? Oh, actually, no, we'll Howard, stay on the line. We'll come back to you because Andy's telling me we got to step aside. Chris, just hang on for a quick second, Chris, and we'll come back to you too. When we come forward, we will wrap up this conversation right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Trey Thomas. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. U.S. lawmakers and activists are urging the country to take stronger action on two fronts related to Haiti. They're calling for a stop to the forced return